Hi, before I even say anything, I want to give you guys a 3 minute compilation of me listening to every song on this album. Here is a 3 minute compilation of me listening to all 37 minutes of Janet Jackson's Dream Street. You don't stand another chance. This sounds familiar. I feel like I've heard this before. That's all I got about that. This is a 6.5 minute song. I don't even want to move. Like, I've never felt this in a song. Thank God that's over. Oh my gosh, that was a no. I know the song. I know this one. This is Dream Street. Y'all remember before Control came out, all she did was this? That's all she did. This song is called Communication. This feels like a video game. I feel like I would hear this in a video game. I'm over it. Fast Girls. It's the name of this song. Hold Back the Tears is the next song. Alright, I'm liking this. Temporary Insanitation. That's what I'm going through. Oh, it's fading out. Oh my, yes. Yes. Gosh. That was the worst song. Oh my god. If It Takes All Night. The last song of the album. Perfect. That could have been a good part, but it didn't pay. Wow. You get the gist? Yeah, I think y'all get the gist. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the channel where we talk all things Janet Jackson. My name is Grass, and this album, okay, let's just get this out the way. The last album, I listened to the last album for the very first time, and that video got a lot of attention. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and listen to Dream Street for the first time, because that's an album that I've never listened to in full. The only songs I knew from that album was Don't Stand Another Chance, Dream Street. I think that's it. There was another song I think I heard of. I think Two to the Power of Love sounded familiar, but those are the main two that I've heard of. Everything else was new to me. And if y'all couldn't see from the video, which I don't know how you couldn't, but this album this is not good. This is not a good album. I don't know who did this. I don't know why it was. Okay, Joe Jackson. No, Joe Jackson, absolutely not. This is your fault. I blame Joe Jackson for this because this is really a bad album. And before I even continue, this is not Janet Jackson did terrible. This is not a hate video towards Janet Jackson. If you know me in this channel, I love me some Janet Jackson. I go on support her. I full on support Janet Jackson. However, this album is horrible. This is easily the worst album that she's ever put out. And I really can't say she because it was really Joe and the management, A&M Records, who did that. It's really not her. I don't think I don't care. This album, I don't like it. I don't like this album. I really don't. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't know the message of this album. I don't know the coherent theme. There's nothing about this album. The only thing about this album that I like, you know what, let's get the positives out the way. Let's just get those out the way. Don't Stand Another Chance. That's a nice song. It's decent. It's obviously not her best work, but it's decent. It sounds good. Dream Street, you know, that's a song that grew up on me over time. I like the message. It's cool. It's a nice little song, I guess. But Fast Girls was a decent song too. I did like Fast Girls. I feel like that's a song that I will like more over time. So that was a nice discovery that I made, but that's the positive. Everything else is bad. I really don't like this album at all. I bury my head in my hand because I don't know how. I don't get it. This album, let me tell you how bad this album is. This album made me appreciate the debut Janet Jackson album and 20YO. Those are two albums that I kind of like. Those two albums I kind of like. But this album really made me appreciate that last album, especially. Not 20YO. Forget 20YO. This album really made me appreciate the debut album. Because at least for the debut album, the production was solid. And there were some really, really good songs on there. And, you know, the lyrics, you know, kind of aged a little bit. But at least it's kind of charming in a sometimes Britney Spears kind of way. So, you know, that's the thing. Like, the strength on that album had strong strengths. This album had none of that. This album was terrible in every single way. I don't like it. Everything about this album, I hate it with the burning passion. There's no good songs. I don't know what song it is. I think it's Pretty Boy and All My Love to You. Those are the worst songs. I don't like those songs. Those songs I have a strong disdain towards. Let's look at Pretty Boy. Pretty Boy is 6.5 minutes long. Pretty Boy is 6.5 minutes long. And then All My Love to You is 5.5 minutes long. Almost 6 minutes long. Now, I don't mind long songs. Janet has put out long songs and they've worked. This Time, that's a great song. That's a 6-minute song. It's long, but I love it. Janet has put out many long songs, but they work and they sound good. Truth is a long song. I just made a video about All For You. Truth is a long song, but it's a good long song that sounds good. Those two songs do not sound good. So I was bored and I was dragged and I was tired and I was so over it and I was ready. The reactions in that video were not fake. I did not exaggerate anything. I did not do anything for like the views and nothing like that. That was my genuine reaction to listening to the songs. I was tired, I was over it, and I felt nothing. I literally felt nothing listening to this. I don't get it. I don't understand it. This album is this album is 37 minutes long. Okay, 37 minutes long and 40 seconds, okay? This is, I think, the shortest Janet album that has ever come out. The debut album was a little bit longer than that, but this is the shortest album that Janet has ever put out. Why does this feel longer than some of her other albums? I guarantee you, listening to this album and Control, I don't know how long Control is. My guess is like 40 minutes, 50 minutes. This album is 37 minutes. If I listen to Control, that album will go by so fast and it feels like I just had a wonderful experience. This album, if I listen to it, I feel like, oh my gosh, okay, I guess. And I really tried. I don't want y'all to think I'm just blatantly hating. And I'm just like, oh, you need to hear it again. Maybe you're not right. I came in with an open mind. I really did. I came in with like, hey, I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to try my best to enjoy it. I'm going to have an open mind. Maybe I'll like these songs. I'm going to really, really go in open. But this is not good. I did not enjoy this album. I can't even find words properly. I like to speak properly with y'all, but like, I'm just letting it out. This album, I don't like it. I should not listen to an album where when I get to the end of a song and I'm like phasing out, I should not get excited to be like, oh my God, it's phasing out. It's almost over. Like it's fading out. Like I should not get excited for that. No, I should not be excited for that. I should be listening to a song going, oh, it's almost over. Like Miss You Much. That's the end. But this is the polar opposite of that. And you know something about this album? I will say this about this album. This album sounds like it goes in TV shows and video games. Like it really has a strong 80s synthesized production. Does that make sense? It's not bad. It's just, it's okay. But it sounds like it's in games and TV shows. And I do know that some of these songs come from TV shows. Like I think Two to the Power of Love, she sings that with Cliff Richards, I believe. And I think that was an actual show. I think that was in Fame or something like that. So I know some of these songs go in the shows, but like this doesn't feel like an album. This feels like I'm listening to a game or like a or I it's like someone took game music, very standard generic game music, and sang to it. That's not good. And then this whole album, I remember talking about this in the last listening to Janet Jackson for the first time. There was a song on there, I don't remember which one it is, but there was a song on there where I remember saying that her voice does not match the production. You have a very fierce production, but her voice does not go with it. That was with one song. With this album, that's the whole thing. I don't know if I put it in the video, but I had to turn up the volume multiple times because the production was loud, but I could barely hear Janet. I could barely hear Janet. It sounded like she was whispering. She was talking so soft and quiet. I was like, huh? Janet, what you saying? I couldn't hear her, and it was just a struggle. So everything, the lyrics are weird, and I don't get them, and maybe it's not for me to get, but I don't get them. I don't understand them. I don't think they're written well. I don't think the production, this is a huge step down from the last album. I don't think, I hate to say this, Janet really does just sound okay on this album. She does have a couple of moments where she comes out in, strong voice, but this, as a whole, she doesn't sound, nothing stands out. Nothing on this album stands out. I do like Don't Stand Another Chance, and I do like Dream Street to an extent, but those still don't stand out. I don't have to listen to this album ever again. The only time I listen to this is if I'm doing a video about it. Ranking the songs or ranking the album, that's probably when I'll listen to it again. But for my own general enjoyment, I don't think I have to go back to this album. I really don't. This album is not good to me. I don't like it. I'm sorry, Janet fans. If you love this album, kudos to you. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad you had a good time. I really am glad that you were feeling it. But me, personally, I'm not feeling it. I don't like this album. This is easily my least favorite Janet Jackson album and one of my least favorite albums of all time. That's so crazy. That's Janet Jackson for you. She might have one of my least favorite albums of all time, but she has my favorite album of all time being Rhythm Nation, so it's just Janet for you. At least the album after this, she took control and said, okay, I'm done with y'all. We finna do things my way. Thank God. I almost want to listen to Control after this album, because this album really doesn't sound like her. That's another thing. This doesn't feel like a Janet album. This doesn't sound like something Janet wanted to do. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but I just feel like Janet does not want to be here. I don't feel like she really cared. Maybe she did. I don't know. There was clearly some care, because I remember hearing somewhere that she did not, the cover for this album, she did not want that. She wanted another picture, but they said, no, we're going to do this one. This one looks better. So clearly there was some passion towards this album that she had, but people pushed her back saying, no, we're going to do it the way we think we should do it. So she had no control over this album. So they was just there. It's their album. This is just their album, and Janet Jackson so happens to be singing on it. That's really what this is. That's what Dream Street is. It's someone else's album. Janet Jackson happens to be on it. Thank God she said, I'm done with y'all. I'm doing it my way. I'm taking control in 1986. So thank God for Control. But that's it. That's all I got for you. I don't like this album. I don't think it's good. That's all I got for you. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I went on a bit of a rant. I'm so sorry. If I sounded unclear at times, I apologize, but this was just me going off. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all take care. You folks have a great night and day. And until next time, take care.